Welcome to the City of Milton Common Council meeting. I am going to read a legal opinion from the League of Wisconsin Municipalities regarding decorum for members of our council and our audience. And I'm going to read the paragraph, and this is the decorum that we will follow. And if there is a member that is not able to follow this, either during public comments or on the council, we will just ask that that comment be suspended and that person will not be allowed to further speak under public comments or further speak on an issue if a member of the council is not able to follow the decorum. But let me read it to you so we're all on the same page. The right to speak does not grant a member any right to hurl verbal insults or ramble from topic to topic, though. Discussion and debate by every member must be relevant to the specific subject matter under discussion. Any member comments disparaging the character of other members, staff, or others in a discussion are not germane or relevant and are plainly out of order. Likewise, a member should be advised to keep comments and arguments relevant when he or she strays off topic or attempts to turn the discussion to an unrelated matter. A member's right to speak is not a right to endless discussion or debate either. A body may establish general or case-by-case rules that limit the total time the body will spend discussing an item or the number of times any member may speak on an item or limit the time for public comment. So we have two members signed up under public comment, members of the audience. Adam Griffin Combs, would you like to come up to the podium? And oh,
don't scratch me, please.
Okay, thank you for coming. Dave Lauder, you've signed up to speak.
So is what you just read going to be commonly known as the Lauder Rule?
I'm just going to remind you.
I want to make, okay, if I say something nasty, you let me know, and then I'll just go on from there.
I'm going to tell you right now what you just started off with would not follow the guidelines that I just read.
And I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to read my statement. I want to make the council and the public aware of the fact that on Friday, I formally charged Mayor Welch with ethics charges in regard to her callous violation of ethics regarding the special meeting to determine if there should be a mayoral primary. I spoke about this at an earlier council meeting. First, I want to make it perfectly clear, I'm making this solely on my own. Nancy is only included as an observer and occasionally telling me to speak slowly. When I talked to the Gazette today, they questioned my timing, and I explained to them that a vacation had prevented me from making my charges at a time that was not so close to the election. The three-person committee has seen my written complaint, and I've communicated with the city attorney about some questions the committee had. I made my concerns very clear and tried to document them as best I could. There is absolutely no question that the mayor's actions are unethical. I have not talked to one person.
Point of order, please. Point of order. That is a conjecture.
I'm sorry?
That is your personal conjecture.
Not exactly my personal question.
With the way that's being read is as if this is a court of law. This is not a court of law. Madam Mayor, I'm going to call a point of order.
Can you make your statement without violating the paragraph that I just read?
Well, I'd like to see his attorney's opinion whether my last statement was or was not proper.
I am the one that is running this meeting, and it is my prerogative to determine the decorum in this meeting.
Would you use your prerogative as the state attorney's opinion?
No, I'm saying you didn't follow it. So
May I
please
continue?
read
May I
your
continue my
statement.
then?
Read your statement
I'm
following the
trying
guidelines.
Okay. In my opinion, there is no question that the mayor's actions are unethical. I have not talked to one person outside this room that was not appalled at her, I'll change this, at her actions. I realize I put the 3 members involved in the screening process in an uncomfortable position because the mayor has a certain control over their employment. I am of the firm belief that my claims are entirely justified and so solid in fact there can be no logical way for the charges to not be approved. If for some unbelievable reason there's a loophole in the ethics ordinance, we should immediately rescind the ordinance and abolish the committee. I've given the screening committee a direct quote from the Wisconsin statute that is covered by section 2-6, part C of the ethics ordinance. I read this last time I spoke. I've also communicated my concerns with the state attorney general, the state ethics board, the state elections board, the Rock Island District Attorney, the League of Wisconsin Municipalities, the League of Wisconsin Mayors, the League of Women Voters of Janesville, and others. The election and ethics boards are very helpful. I may not have stated these organizations' names all correctly, but I assure you I had their names right when I was contacting them. This is not a minor matter. This is the most important elected official in Milton being charged with a serious violation. I believe my claims are justified and this matter will proceed. If by some abomination of common sense, the screening committee does not think my concerns fall within the ethics ordinance, I will rewrite them. If necessary, I will seek an outside attorney's advice on taking legal action against the city. It is already proven that I have both the resources and the will to take on City Hall and the mayor. Milton needs a mayor who cares about the people. I won't say the last part of the sentence because that might offend your sensibilities. Thank you.
And just for the record, there have been no charges filed by any of those agencies, nor have we heard from them. And there has been a complaint given to our staff in accordance with the procedures, and that is where it stands. There is no charges filed. There is a complaint filed as of right now.
Thank you for those corrections.
I've not signed up to speak, but I would like to speak. As a citizen, please.
I don't think that you can, but
No.
What you're saying, but no member of the council cannot remove themselves.
Thank you anyway.
Sure.
we're going to move along to the mayoral proclamation of Women's History Month.
You're a ghost.
Whereas American women of every race, class, and ethnic background have made historic contributions to the growth and strength of our nation in countless recorded and unrecorded ways. Whereas American women have played and continue to play critical economic, cultural, and social roles in every sphere of the life of the nation by constituting a significant portion of the labor force working inside and outside of the home. Whereas American women have played a unique role throughout the history of the nation by providing the majority of the volunteer labor force of the nation. Whereas American women were particularly important in the establishment of early charitable, philanthropic, and cultural institutions in our nation. Whereas American women of every race, class, and ethnic background served as early leaders in the forefront of every major progressive social change movement. Whereas American women have served our country courageously in the military. Whereas American women have been leaders not only in securing their own rights of suffrage and equal opportunity, but also in the abolitionist movement, the emancipation movement, the industrial labor movement, the civil rights movement, and other movements especially the peace movement, which create a more fair and just society for all. And whereas women have played a notable role in the development of the Milton community, including those involved in the Ladies Club of Milton Junction, also known as the Fortnightly Club, which established the first public library in 1906 when the group purchased $10 worth of books to be used as the beginnings of a public collection. And whereas, despite these contributions, the role of American women in history has been consistently overlooked and undervalued in the literature, teaching, and study of American history, especially American women of color. Now therefore, I, Anissa M. Welch, Mayor of the City of Milton, County of Rock, State of Wisconsin, do by here designate March as Women's History Month and encourage the celebration and recognition of this month throughout the City of Milton and encourage women to speak up, especially when their opinions are not respected by men. Item number 6, approval of the Common Council minutes of February 19th, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. Discussion and possible action regarding a conditional use permit for Badger Land Disposal located at 1528 Putnam Parkway.
So this item was on the Plan Commission's. This item was on the Plan Commission's agenda earlier today and was unanimously approved. Cut off. That's weird.
When you start speaking, mine turns on.
And so does Howie's.
Oh,
And Dan's.
creepy. Creepy.
The person who's supposed to be talking to.
Notice that they're all men.
Your opinions are heard. So this item was on the Plan Commission's agenda today and was unanimously approved. This is a conditional use permit application for Badger Land Disposal to build their proposed facility at 1528 Putnam Parkway. The conditional use permit covers a number of items as outlined in the memo that have been discussed at a number of occasions at the Plan Commission level and then subsequently were approved today. Their intent is to construct their facility on Putnam Parkway, first with an office facility of about 12,500 square feet, and then in a subsequent phase, construct their MFR facility, and I can't remember what that acronym stands for. But ultimately, it's a sorting facility for recyclable materials, and that's about a 50,000 square foot facility that they would construct on the north side of that facility, or the back half of that facility, or of that site. If approved, the next step in the process would be for them to bring forth a TIF development agreement, which we have prepared and have gone through revisions of that would likely come forward at our next meeting. But if there are questions regarding the conditional use permit application, certainly I'm available to answer questions, or Howie, as we both reviewed those items and helped. Yes, Larry and the mayor, or Alderperson Lane and the mayor were also present at the Plan Commission meeting, and as was Alderperson Clark as well.
I would just like to say that I think everybody knows that Teresa and Anissa and I had gone and toured the other places to look at the types of disposal and the odors and the sound and the whole works of it. And I really feel good about this project, and I will tell you, because I know that a lot of people out there are concerned about the sound, but I will tell you that one of the first things that impressed me when we were there was they were not required by OSHA to wear hearing, anything to stop the excessive noise. And that tells me that we've got an industry here that they've looked at all of the details and everything is good.
They really have an impressive business plan too, if you took the time to read it over. And the Plan Commission did unanimously approve their site plan findings of fact and any other requirements that the Plan Commission put in that maybe Al can.
Right, there are a few items, as you can see in the memo, that we have contingencies placed on the conditional use permit regarding outdoor storage, the potential presence of odors, the potential presence of sound.
Wastewater.
And wastewater, yep.
Yep.
They agreed to all those contingencies.
I make a motion to approve.
Second?
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion or debate? All those in favor? All those opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Item number 8, discussion and possible action on resolution 2019-03, transfer from TID number 8 to SBD loan program.
So this is kind of a multifaceted item, but ultimately it comes down to the fact that we will be closing TIF 8 here this spring. TIF 8, as you may recall, was a TIF that was created before the economic recession, right before the economic recession, and due to the economic recession has never really recovered from its base value being so negatively impacted from the recession. As part of that closure for TIF 8, or in preparation for the closure of TIF 8, in reviewing kind of documents with our financial advisor and with our auditor, we came across this agreement that was drafted in 2014, in which TLC Restorations utilized $20,000 from the what was kind of in existence back then called the Small Business Development Loan Program. There was a subsequent agreement that called for them to then apply for additional facade loan or facade grants that would be used to then repay their obligation to the city through the SBD program. But they actually never took out those grants, and they just completed the work on their own. So in essence, their obligation was met by not requesting additional funds. So we're asking that we just close this kind of outstanding issue within TIF 8 and allow for a transfer of $20,000 from TIF 8 to the SBD loan program in order to kind of satisfy that outstanding obligation, so then we can close TID 8 kind of with a clean bill of health. So it's a little confusing, but at the end of the day, the intent of the agreement was satisfied.
Can I ask, the 20,000 that goes back to that, does it have to go in that direction?
Yes. Yeah, because right now the SBD program shows an outstanding obligation of $20,000, so we would need to kind of rectify that outstanding obligation.
What happens then? Are you closing that program down too?
We won't be closing it. We will likely be kind of re-envisioning it. We've had several discussions with First Community Bank and a couple with Bank of Milton, who are partners in that SBD program, and agree that the program really never actually did what the hope was, because the idea was it was supposed to help with economic development during the recession, and it did in this one program, but then has largely sat dormant since that time. So we've talked with folks at First Community Bank and with Bank of Milton to try to maybe re-envision that program to have it be more effective. So if we execute this transfer back, we'll likely be bringing back some revisions to that program in order to hopefully make it more effective and really kind of do what it was supposed to do in the beginning.
Ideally, it would be nice if we could use some of these funds to encourage and attract small businesses to locate in one of our downtowns.
Correct. That's exactly what it would be for.
And so we're helping to just further develop that, similar to the new matching grant for home development, that we could just maybe do a better job of like getting the word out, attracting businesses and filling up some of those empty storefronts. Anything else? Is there a motion?
I make a motion then to approve resolution 2019-73, transfer from the state to the SPD loan program.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. Item number 9, discussion and possible action on resolution 2019-04, transfer from general fund to capital projects fund.
So as we have finally started to close out 2018, here we are on March 7th. Daylight savings is just around the corner, and it's 10 degrees outside. One of the final kind of steps in the process is to begin to close out 2018. We now are at a point where all kind of outstanding liabilities for 2018 have likely been satisfied. And what I mean when I say that is any bills that would likely have occurred in 2018 have now gone through the process and been paid out. So, anything from electric bills to, payroll or whatever else would be outstanding. Those items have now kind of all been closed out, and we're at a position now where we can really close the books on 2018 in a literal and figurative sense. And we're at the place now we're looking at comparing actual to budgeted. We've seen revenues exceed expected expenses by about $173,000. And this is ultimately because of, kind of 4 big revenue items that we didn't anticipate. One being interest earnings exceeding expectations by $44,000, which is great news. That is really a product of the economy, that things are going well, and the investments that we made with our funds were wise investments and proved to be fruitful in terms of interest income. An unanticipated dividend from our insurance company. We have an insurance company that basically pays us back part of our premium if we experience less than expected losses, and 2018 was a good year for that. We had more building permit revenue than anticipated, and again, that's a product of the economy. More activity in the community, homes being built, permits being taken out, homes being renovated, buildings in the industrial park being constructed. We saw those numbers higher than anticipated. And then unspent contingency. We didn't spend hardly anything in contingency last year, which is always a good thing. So those are the 4 items that really make up that $173,000 that we saw in which revenues exceeded expectations. So what we're recommending is that $150,000 of that be transferred to the capital fund in order to fund future capital needs that are to be determined at this time, whether that be additional street maintenance or purchase of unexpected equipment or things of that nature. So that's our recommendation. So resolution 2019-04 would transfer $150,000 of that to the capital projects fund. The remaining fund would go into our fund balance in order to kind of keep that at a healthy place.
But not too healthy.
Exactly. We don't want it to be too healthy.
I'll move that we adopt resolution 2019-04.
Second.
Is there any further questions? So these funds could be really put anywhere, right? We're just choosing to put the majority in capital.
Correct.
Okay.
Like the resolution states, we're at 25% of our fund balance.
26.
26% of our fund balance.
And on? Can you?
The power I have.
So typical.
But we're at 26% of our fund balance, and as we've been trying to do, we're trying to not borrow, but that also capital needs that are necessary in order to way up. So the mild winter. Not 2019.
So maybe we could look at future training opportunities for employees that maybe we haven't taken advantage of over the years, or future training for elected and governing officials. I'm not trying to spend everything we say. I'm just, I feel like we've been really, really good on our training budget, and maybe if there's some things that we've been missing out on, that we could do that.
And I would say even with this transfer, there's still a residual 23,000 that would go into fund balance. And those dollars could be used for that, obviously through a budget amendment, which we would do anyways. And the council training budget still exists, and as far as I know, no funds have been used yet this year. So, yeah, those are all always options. And obviously, anytime somebody from the council or our committees would be interested in training, I would highly recommend forward those to us, and then we can see how that looks in the budget. And if we want to, look at that in 2019 as a possibility for the use of some of those funds, we can certainly do that with council approval.
And I would like to say thank you for managing our finances so well, and also the growth that has helped our community, and some of the council policies that they've enacted to encourage businesses to locate here. So there's a motion and a second. Any further comments or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. Item number 10, discussion and possible action regarding ordinance 2019-458 concerning unpaid obligations to the city.
I really like to use the term housekeeping item, but this is probably as close as it gets in those situations. Ordinance 2019-458 clears up some language or some possible gap in the existing ordinance language in terms of unpaid obligations to the city. When the ordinance that's on the books was drafted, it was drafted before the creation of the stormwater utility. So the current language reads that anybody who has an unpaid city water utility or wastewater utility bill would not be eligible for a permit or license. In looking at that, there are several properties in the city that only receive a stormwater bill because they're either not on city water or not on city sewer. And we just want to make sure that the language is consistent with the intent of the ordinance, that any unpaid obligations to the city could preclude you from receiving a permit. And we just didn't want that that gap in the process. So it's just really a matter of kind of making sure that the language is consistent throughout with the intent. So.
So, would it, what about like if you wanted some sort of license to operate in the city?
If you have unpaid obligations to the city, you wouldn't be able to receive that license.
Okay.
And that's been on the books for years and years and years and years, yeah. This just changes the language to, instead of saying stormwater, or instead of saying water utility and wastewater utility bills are paid in full, it would say any and all utility bills are paid in full.
Move for approval.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further questions?
Point of clarification on the motion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I should have said word.
Yeah,
So is the end of the motion to be to approve the first reading, waive the second,
Thank you.
third, and adopt?
Yes, that was my mistake. I'll rephrase that. I move for approval of ordinance 2019-458 and approve the first reading and waive the second and third readings.
And I'll still second that.
Okay. All those in favor? All those opposed? The motion carries. Discussion and possible action on proposals for 2019-2021 sludge hauling.
So staff got to hear my joke about this yesterday morning, but I'll let you guys all hear it too. A few weeks ago, I said my favorite night of the year is doing the year in review. But boy, was I wrong. My new favorite night is when we approve the sludge hauling contract. It's even better the second time, right, Scott?
So we're getting down to dirty business. Now we're getting down to dirty business now?
Right. So this is an additional 2-year extension with our sludge hauling contract, or our existing 3-year, I'm sorry, with Bytech to provide sludge hauling services for the city of Milton.
I'll make a motion that we approve Bytech for sludge hauling services.
I'll second.
They also wanted to know if you would be acceptable to extending it to 5 years.
Oh.
And they would only charge the 3% increase per year for the next 2 years after that. But that increase would still be lower than the lowest price of the other competitor.
So it would be a total 5-year. Yeah.
You gotta wait 5 years.
Maybe we just want to do a yearly contract.
5-year mandatory yearly review.
Yes. And we want a presentation by them every year with pictures.
With music.
Or just at least sound.
If you go with the 5-year, the sewer utility will be debt free by then.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Okay. Because everybody's going to pay their financial obligations too.
So Dan, are you suggesting we go with the 5-year?
It don't matter. The 3%
So you'll have-
is a good way to go.
You'll have to change your motion
I was
then.
gonna say, we have to, can we amend it, or?
Yes.
Or you can just withdraw your motion and
Right.
make the motion again, that would be cleanest.
Okay.
Right this time.
We want to be clean about sludge.
I will withdraw my motion, and I will make a motion that we approve the contract for 5 years.
I'll second that.
With the stipulations in the memo.
Yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Like,
All those opposed? The sludge carries. No.
There you go.
I was so excited to tell my joke.
I'm glad we could sludge through that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, man.
Get some ideas for team building.
You can add that to Woody's book.
Not nearly as exciting or colorful. Item number 12, discussion and possible action regarding 2019 sidewalk installation proposal.
You can take this one, Howie. I don't want to screw it up. If we,
Was, the location was approved when we had the Public Works Committee.
that's what I thought.
And it's the end of Tower Hills, it will extend all the way to the new subdivision of Red Hawk and on East Galen. And that way there'll be a sidewalk that you could get all the way back to St. Mary's and to all the schools, at least on one side of the road. Johnson Brothers were the only ones that bid on it. They have been the low bidder the last probably 5 years, 4 or 5, or at least 3 or 4 years. And they came within budget. You know, they would just do this work this summer if approved. And we talked to the homeowner on Tower Hills, and he was all right with it. We'll just try to save his trees as much as we can.
Price similar to 2018, 27.
I'll make a motion that we approve the sidewalk installation proposal.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Anything else?
The only question I have is, Howie, do we need some written response from the homeowner? I'm just thinking of down the road with the trees and,
We did an email with him.
oh, okay, thank you.
Also, this needs a publication in the paper because it's a proposal.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Anything else for anybody? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. 13, discussion and possible action regarding roof repairs at well number 4 and treatment plant facilities.
Okay, these would be roof repairs for 3 buildings. One would be well number 4 on Rainbow Drive, and the other 2 are at the treatment plant. And we received 2 bids on this, and the low bid was for Pioneer Roofing, and they would do this work, start this work in April.
Howie, do we solicit bids for this, or do we?
Yes, this we advertised, and we sent it out to some different companies that do it, and these were the only 2 that sent back, and the third one just responded and said, you know, well, they wouldn't have time. But this, we advertised this one as a bid.
What have we done work with the winning bidder?
We have.
Is there a way we should be checking out, just the second bid
We did
was
have,
way crazy compared to their
we
bid?
did have, we did check the, I guess, it's kind of like reference on them from the manufacturer that provides materials. And they had worked with all the companies before, and then they had said when they bought products from them before, that their work was always acceptable.
Anything else?
Howie, I was just kind of wondering, because we're always going to have these roof replacement projects, especially in the well houses. Should we be looking at solar?
Well, I guess that we could, it's just that the buildings are not, I mean, they're not really big buildings. We did have someone that contacted us about some solar items before, but I think they can add solar onto the top of the roof if they need to.
Yes.
All right, that sounds good. I'll make a motion that we approve that we accept the low bid of $47,500 from Pioneer Roofing for the replacement at well number 4 on the treatment plant.
I'll second.
So motion and a second. Anything else from anyone? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Discussion and action to approve no operator licenses.
We have 5 operators that have requested operator licenses on the agenda this evening. All have gone through background checks performed by the Milton Police Department, as well as the municipal court clerk and city clerk, and are recommending approval of these operator licenses.
Move to approve?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion from anyone? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Discussion and action to authorize the appointment of additional election officials for the January 2018 through December 2019 election cycle.
This is a request and a recommendation made by our city clerk to appoint Clay Bogan and Carolyn Symes, as election officials for the remainder of this election cycle ending in December 2019. Both of these individuals have served as election officials in the past, or at least worked at the elections in the past. And so the clerk is recommending that they be added as additional election officials.
I'd like to make a motion to authorize the appointment of these 2 as additional election officials.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Does anybody have any comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. Number 16, review of January financial statements.
This is just,
Here, does that help when mine's on? I turned mine on. Does that help?
They're all on
you're
down
getting
there.
feedback.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Howie's messing with everybody. I see you pushing buttons.
So this is just a snapshot through January.
Breathing.
You just
Keep talking. Or just stand up there.
I'll just. It's just a snapshot of January, and then it's got the 2018 amount and the January check register. Are there any questions?
Time for council karaoke.
There you go.
Oh, man.
Oh.
Okay, so any questions?
Any questions?
Anything?
The tax settlement.
Yes.
February there was 948,000.
Any other questions? Red flags? Anything? We haven't, done the bonuses yet. So. Too soon? Whoever has the microphone goes first. All right.
She's not holding it.
Or touch
General items.
I would like to make a general item. I just want to say that I am totally excited about the Milton way that I'm seeing out in the community. The community has gone through some things that are not very pleasant, and there's been unhappy people that are not being very nice. But I just want everybody to know that there are people out there doing the Milton way, and to those people, I say thank you.
Anybody else under general items?
I have a committee report of sorts.
If there's no other general items, we'll go to committee reports. Okay, committee report.
Okay, just a reminder that this weekend is Herstories of Milton, which is a tour in celebration of Women's History Month. And there's sign up online for being able to do it. It's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Tickets are $35 and includes a tour, transportation, and lunch. There's still a few spots available as well. So if anybody wants to go on that tour, it should be a really good tour. I believe Saturday.
Sunday.
Sunday. I think
Yep.
it's
Sunday. And where do people meet? I'm going just for my own information.
We're going to meet at Anchor in Newville, and then we're going to hop on the bus and come back into Milton, which seems kind of silly, but we'll also end up there for lunch. Lunch will be provided with your ticket.
So 10 a.m. at Anchor.
Yep.
And there's been a lot of research done for this tour too, so it should be a very fascinating
I'm
tour.
really excited. Really excited to go. Any other committee reports?
I have something. With all the growth that's happening and with all the new construction going on, again, just want to remind everybody, I want to toot my horn a little with my committee I'm on, but the Plan Commission really does ask a lot of straightforward, thoughtful, researched questions. Just an example of the one approved tonight. We asked a lot of really tough questions and asked for real proof of the answers to those questions. So I just think that's important to know as we continue to grow that we're not just rubber stamping things, and we're really looking at things before we bring them to you guys on the council. So.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Anything else for committee reports? Updates? Anything? Nope. Okay, staff reports. Chief?
We have a celebration of life taking place at North Goodrich Park tomorrow. And the family contacted me last week to say that their father is a military veteran, so they're having military ceremonies that go along with this event. And it's taking place sometime between 12:45 and 1:45. Very, very close to Milton East Elementary School and our downtown businesses on Parkview. So I did a public notification if you haven't seen it yet. The school district is sharing it widely. We have lots of people that have seen it and looked at it. Hopefully will prevent somebody from making a panic call hearing rifles go off in the middle of the ceremony in the middle of the school day. So heads up on that if you hadn't heard yet. Last week I finished my first week of my 4-week FEMA Emergency Managers Basic Academy. Heads up, we have a lot of work to do. We're not going to start that work until I'm done with this course, but we have a lot of work to do. And a lot of that work is going to involve this body. So be prepared and put your training caps on. It's probably going to be free training, so there's no budget impact, but the people within city government are going to have to do some training that we haven't been doing lately. As part of that, there's going to be plenty of roundtables and stakeholder meetings and things as we create a plan, and you all will be part of that as well. So stay tuned. It is a baseline for folks who serve as emergency managers. So in the class, we have.
Respond to specific events?
No, this is, well, yes, but from a broader sort of management level. This isn't learn how to, me learning how to respond to a police event. This is if we were to have a major disaster, whether it's weather or a tanker on the highway or anything, where we have to then convene as a city and do things from an emergency management perspective, teaching me how to do that basically and what sort of things we need in place first, and then getting into some of the response stuff. But a lot of the discussion is about the work that's done ahead of time to set you up for success if you have an event.
I'm assuming we'll be updating our binder. The binder that I carry wherever I go in my vehicle.
Excellent. Yeah, all of that will be, and this is not a process that's going to take a couple of weeks. This is going to be months and months of work to do the research and when you think about potential threats to our city, a lot of things come to mind as potential issues, and we have to get those people to the table, and I'm sure they'll be happy to do it, but to start creating what we call a threat assessment. And that's the baseline for then building your plan. So I'm very grateful for this course. It's completely free, funded by FEMA. It's in Madison, so we have no travel. This is the first time the state of Wisconsin has hosted this course in-state. Otherwise, it's been at other places. So it's been eye-opening. So stay tuned.
And I'm just so relieved that we're there, because that's one of the biggest concerns I think we're going to be dealing with in the future, is how we adjust and to lots of things, but also unique weather patterns that we've been experiencing too. So I've been excited about hearing about what we're doing, and also how Rock County has been very supportive
Indeed.
of us, and of general of the municipalities around Rock County.
Yeah, I'll just do a quick shout out to Sergeant Sheena Kohler at the Rock County Sheriff's Office is the county emergency manager, and she's amazing. And her assistant is actually taking this course with me. So we're sitting at our table is me, the chief of police at Village of Clinton, Dave Hooker, if you know Dave, Tammy, who's with emergency management, and an employee with the city of Janesville. And so the ability to collaborate amongst all of our agencies as we discuss these things, I think is going to be really important too. Because we aren't going to be able to do any of this by ourselves, and we're going to have to be reaching out to our partners if we were to have a disaster.
For sure. Thank you. Ashley, with the library.
We have started scheduling interviews for our open position. We're bringing 10 people in to interview, so that's exciting. The library is starting a running club every Tuesday at 5:15, starting April 9th. So, Chief, I might come in kind of sweaty some days.
Let's just challenge the whole council.
So if you want to come on and run with us, a lot of staff members on the library staff like to run, so we thought we'd invite the community to run with us.
Awesome. Inga?
I did send out an email a little while ago that the link for nominations for community awards is up on the website right now, and they will be due May 3rd. And then the community recognition picnic is scheduled for May 23rd.
All right. Howie?
Nothing too much out of the
It's always exciting.
Yeah, another
Count the
exciting one,
pictures.
so, and then just two, so.
Dan, are you passing?
No, I got the mic. I was just going to make one other comment on Resolution 2019-04. Revenues exceeding expenditures don't happen usually by luck. We have a really great staff all around, and it's every single employee in every department tries to figure out ways to cut expenses. I see it every day when I cutting checks and things. So that doesn't happen on accident. You know, we do conservative budgeting, so that plays into it, but every single employee in the city does a really good job of asking questions before they create an expenditure.
Thank you. Al?
I think we can blame the MAC candidate forum for messing up our microphones, so. But I do want to say thank you to everybody. I want to say thank you for MAC for hosting that. That's, you know, one of those events that I don't think a lot of communities have. And thanks for everybody who participated, and the room was, you know, pretty full that night, and there was an engaged group, and we had good discussion up here. And Daniel, I think you sat right here, and my microphone's working, so we can't blame you. So
I
but
wasn't here.
yeah, sabotage. So thank you thanks to Mac, thanks John, and all the people who volunteered that night to come out and help out with that. It was a good event, and you know, it's a nice thing for this community to have. Again, I don't think most communities have that, especially communities our size. So it's very nice. Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's going to be so easy. And I too want to thank MAC for holding that event and for the community that stayed. It's a long night. It starts early, and people could have left after their particular candidate forum, and they didn't. And the candidates were, there was really a good decorum. And I appreciated that too. And I think it speaks highly of our community. So for team building.
Somebody's supposed to bring cookies.
Oh, yes. So that person will bring dinner.
I honestly forgot about the
5 o'clock next meeting will be dinner for us.
the cookies that were at the forum.
Had nothing to do with you.
I thought those were from another group.
So, it's March, finally. It really is. You don't have to believe me. It's a fact. There's nothing to support it, but what's your favorite part about it being March? What's great about March?
Basketball tournament.
It's 1 month closer to football.
Oh, jeez.
And now she's really going to call me out on Tuesdays, but running outside instead of in my basement.
My dogs will get to go for more walks.
The wrestling national tournament's on, so I love watching that every year. NCAAs.
The basketball tournament for sure, but St. Patrick's Day.
Daylight savings time
I'm gonna go with that one as well.
and spring training baseball.
So that's here, okay.
It was my daughter's first birthday on the 1st, so that's why I like March now.
You stole mine. We both hit the button at the same time. She'll never see this and she'll never hear this, but it's my wife's birthday on March 19th.
And you'll be at a council meeting.
And I'll be at a council meeting. Bringing cookies,
So,
apparently.
no, you need to bring a good meal and invite your wife to come.
Bring a birthday cake.
Yeah.
Celebrate for her.
Yeah. Yeah, that's quite a birthday present I could offer her. Come to the council meeting.
Spending time with us.
The group, most of the time.
Jiff?
I think we can sing happy birthday to her when we're done with team building. I think if you agree to bring pizza, we won't sing happy birthday after this.
And I'm gonna say that, you know, More than likely, we could try singing "Happy Birthday," but only one mic will probably work. And it'll be Russian roulette as to whose the voice will actually hear.
It'll be dance.
That's right, it'll be dance.
I won't be here.
Who's left? Linda, Teresa, the audience.
Oh, she said, I have to agree with everything that everybody said, but then for me, I have to say that this is the time that I start looking at my gardens and how I want to plant and rearrange and all that. So this is a good month for me.
Mark?
First in line.
Oh, were you? Gosh, so much has happened, I haven't remembered it.
I would say the best thing about March is it's not February.
The absence of February. My son and daughter-in-law both have birthdays, and I think they're either March 13th and March 14th, or March 14th and March 15th.
Well, you have.
Well, I had one of them. I'm pretty sure his birthday is March 14th. Does the audience want to chime in here?
Oh, come on.
Oh boy, that is going to come back to haunt you.
As long as it's an opinion. Sorry.
Anything else for anybody else?
Sludge removal.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
No kidding.
Dan, you're getting on education tonight.
I just want to say, you were thinking about getting for dinner. I just had an Eat Street app. You could have Buffalo Wild Wings delivered here.
Oh, that's right.
They just open that up or just offer that in Jason. Will they deliver to Milton?
Yep, I just had it last night. Yep.
It is in Milton too.
Wow.
Hey, we are moving up Eat Street. We don't even have to have a fast food place now if we can have it delivered. Whoa.
Whoa.
Hey, we need a press release on it.
That's pretty
That'll
awesome.
be easier for you to get stuff here.
No excuse now. No excuse now.
We can order from all over.
Yeah.
Team building next month. What's your favorite Eat Street? Next meeting, March 19th, 2019. Happy birthday, Leslie. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion. I'll second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion carries. We're adjourned.